So let's get fucking into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Barroom Boys. I'm Mondo here today with Hod, Beav, and Gary. And on today's episode, I'll do this part slow. Today we got Dartmouth. We're going to talk about how they are, I guess, defining their hoop culture, which I didn't even know they had. We're going to talk a little bit about the golf this weekend and the utter disgrace that was the Pro Bowl games. We got this, I don't even know what to call you. This guy, Gary, up here. He's got trivia. And then we wrap all that up with a little letter wheel draft for the three of us. So, it's not a crazy episode. We're going to talk Super Bowl and the Super Bowl special, which, by the way, no Barroom Boys episode on Thursday/Friday. That will air on Saturday. Just so everyone aware, it is the Super Bowl special like we did last year. Bunch of guests, bunch of stuff to talk about. But yeah, boys, how was your weekend? What's going on? Talk to me.
Weekend was good. Been working on my golf game a bit lately. There's not much else to do here in the dead of winter, so I got that going for me. Bought myself a new golf bag. Looks pretty snazzy.
Nice.
And then I'm getting ready to go to Florida this week. Some warm weather, so I'm pumped about that.
So you're just gonna hype up your golf bag and not show us?
I'll send y'all a pic offline. I mean, how am I gonna do it here? Let's see. I actually got to pull it right now.
Is it up there with you? Ooh,
it's nice and blue.
Nice.
It's clean. We gotta
It
get
doesn't make you any better at the game, though.
Oh, I feel a lot better. So it's
the opposite of me. I played my first round of the year this past weekend, in 34-degree weather, really bad winds, and let's just say I struggled a lot.
I guess we could talk about that. Is like, how cold is too cold to play golf? Gary, you could probably give some input.
It was cold.
My threshold for being, in Atlanta for the whole winter is probably 40 degrees. Anything below 40, is probably too much, because then you just got too many layers on to make a good swing.
Yep, that was exactly what I did. We played in 37-degree weather. That was the high on Saturday. I think I had like a tight Under Armour beneath my polo, beneath a quarter zip, and then I had a vest on, and I had a beanie on, and then my glove, and then every other swing, like every time I took a swing, I immediately threw on like warm gloves with hand warmers in them. Like it was
hand warmers.
Let's just say I thinned the ball a lot, and I lost a decent amount of balls.
Yeah, that's gotta hurt, to be honest, when you thin it like that.
Yeah, I mean, the ground was so hard, so you couldn't really make a divot. Like it was just like kind of impossible to get a flush swing. So I got like one flush swing with an iron all day. But it was like a 6-iron, and it went like maybe 140 yards because it was straight into our face.
Hey, we're out on the golf course.
Yeah, I felt like I was on fucking Pebble when I was like taking like 130-yard shots with like 7 irons.
Yeah, now it's just like all brown, right? No green at all.
No green besides the greens. You couldn't play from the bunkers, which I guess I'm actually pretty decent out of the bunkers, but we just played like put it behind the bunker if you're in the bunker.
Why can't you play in the bunker?
The bunker was all kind of like almost parts of it was like frozen over, and then parts of it was like wet, and it's just like in the cold weather, I guess there's only like 2 courses open within like probably like a 45-minute radius of where I live. And the one we played last weekend, they said before, like if you hit a ball in the bunker, just pick it up and play from behind it.
Okay. Gare?
Yeah, good weekend. Had a lot of ideas flowing. Got a lot of stuff done. I'm usually the one to wake up at noon, but today I woke up at 7:30, believe it or not. And I got a lot of stuff done. I got the first episode of the Rec Room podcast, which is now live. So be sure to check that out.
No, don't be promoting your other shit on this pod, Gary.
Anyways, got that done with my buddy Greg Hall. Pretty cool guy. Used to be athletic trainer for the Braves minor league team and now owns his own I9 sports franchise. So he has a lot of knowledge, and it was really interesting to kind of pick his brain about everything. But
Cool.
yeah, other than that, I've just been grinding.
Good job, Gare. Good job. Love it. Um, as far as my weekend, I went apartment hunting on Saturday in Fort
How'd that go?
Lauderdale. So it actually didn't go too bad. It was kind of like a Goldilocks situation. Like one was kind of not great looking, the other was out of our budget. And then this one place we're looking at, it's pretty nice. It's got a den attached to the one bedroom. Where I could do podcasts and have like a little man cave. So that would be pretty cool.
Nice.
But we can't really finalize anything until April / beginning of May, which is kind of like the rough part. So, we're excited. We're probably gonna look at more apartments either next weekend or the weekend after. But yeah, did that and then came back home Sunday, and boys, let me tell you, it was a wasted day. And here's why. I sat there and I watched the Pro Bowl games. I don't know why I did it. I figured something might be interesting. I shit you not, I have never been that bored in my life. I could have watched paint dry and it would have been way more entertaining than what I watched on Sunday. I don't know if any of you tuned in, but good God, it was fucking horrible.
I thought it was decent for what the expectations were going into it. Like no one really had any sort of expectation, so when you set the bar like so low, it kind of surprised me a little bit. Like I thought some of the challenges like in between the quarters were kind of cool. Like the one where they had to like basically the relay one where they had to like go through the walls and like the maze, and that was kind of entertaining to watch. I watched like probably the second half of the game, like the actual flag football game.
Yeah.
Didn't really stand out to me. I like the
Mhm.
pitchy woo woo that went on, but that was about it.
I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of the kick tack toe.
Yeah, I was those like they're unique in terms of like what they come up with, except like they could execute it better, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah. I kind of think the games are cool, like the side games, but like you got to replace the flag football. Like I was
Yeah.
brainstorming at work for a little while today, and I was just like, how can you make, the Pro Bowl something that is enjoyable?
Yeah.
And what I kind of arrived at is you have all these games, all these Pro Bowl things, and you have your Pro Bowl players. What you also have are the prospects, right? The people leaving college, coming to the NFL. The prospects face off too. And you play in a real Pro Bowl game. You do all like the relay shit, all of that. And then the way you play in this Pro Bowl stuff will affect your draft stock. So if you do really shitty in dodgeball and get out right away, you drop 4 spots in the draft instantly. I think that would make the Pro Bowl so much more fun and entertaining just because there's so much on the line for the young people. But on a real note, I'm curious what you guys each think could make the Pro Bowl better and just make it so that it's something people want to watch.
Yeah, I mean, your argument was enticing, but you kind of lost me and probably 90% of the NFL when you said they actually have to play a real game. I don't know. I feel like intense competitive flag football is the best you can possibly get, and then you just mix it up with the games like the game where the quarterbacks are thrown at the targets. That's probably the most exciting game. You get to see them throw like kind of up close and see what it's like when they throw spirals around the field.
Mm-hmm.
Tug of War is cool. I mean, Eli and Peyton, it's like they're pretty much maxing out their potential at this point. I think it all went downhill since they moved from Hawaii to Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I just think like in a way you kind of have to incorporate like the defense more because
Yeah.
defensive players all they did were just like the challenges. So
Mm-hmm.
if that's the case, like why kind of even bother showing up just because I guess you were invited and you have nothing else to do in the off season? But the same time, like if you're like Miles Garrett and you're like the one thing you did was just sit on like the thing while they two linemen pushed you, like why is there a point? So I think there
Yeah.
has to be some sort of like defense incorporated, whether it's like the flag football format, but like the second quarter you can only play with like defensive players, and then like offensive linemen have to get like a series each or something like that, just to kind of incorporate like, okay, you still have the quarterback throwing, but it's all offensive linemen versus all defensive linemen like on the field or something like that, to make it kind of, because unless you're a corner or safety or linebacker, like there's no real point in you showing up.
Yeah. And like I feel like that's the problem. Like how do you make it worth it? Like do you move it to after the Super Bowl? Do you think people would be more interested then?
Uh, no, I don't necessarily think so. I think you have to have it this weekend, because if it's after the Super Bowl, I don't think, one, many people will participate, and two, there won't be as much hype around it. Like you kind of know the Pro Bowl as like the week in between the conference championships and the Super Bowl. So it's just all kind of promoting the Super Bowl. I think if it's after, it kind of kills the hype a lot more.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that's just my opinion.
Gare, what are your thoughts up there?
Um, I don't know. I think the way they do it is how it should be done personally. Like, obviously, it kind of reminds you of like bowl games where like a lot of players don't want to do like these full contact interactions because they don't want to risk getting injured and ruining whatever they have planned for the future. So like I understand why they do what they do. But I think one thing that is pretty interesting that they kind of did this year was the incorporation of sports outside of football. With the closest to the pin challenge, I thought that was pretty entertaining to watch because you could tell there were some guys that have never picked up a golf club in their life. And then there were others that, obviously golf was a hobby of theirs. So I think the incorporation of like, sports, just new sports as a whole, is pretty interesting because obviously these guys are athletes and they're great at what they do. But how well can Jalen Hurts hit a baseball? Or, how well can Vita Vea kick a soccer ball? Like, just add some variety to it. One thing that really sticks out in my mind that I think would be pretty fun to watch would be a paintball match. I think that would be pretty cool to see. Just kind of these players take their aggression out on each other by shooting the fuck out of each other. But, just the incorporation of other sports and see how versatile they are, I think would be pretty neat.
That's a good
Yeah.
idea. I guess one thing I would like to see, I think that would be really entertaining, is two races. So you have 100-meter like dash with like all the fastest guys. So you get like DK, Tyreek Hill, like all like the 99 speed, like pure speed guys. And you also have a 4x1 relay between the AFC and the NFC. I think that would be kind of cool.
They
Well,
put
you
like
said
a lineman in
I
between.
think that would
Yeah.
be cool, but on the other side, watching the slowest players in the league race may be just as entertaining.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly. So
mean?
you do like a lineman relay. So it's like you have like AFC, you have like a bunch of like offensive linemen, and NFC bunch of offensive linemen go head to head, and then
Mhm.
the winner of that gets a point, and you kind of just go through like the skill positions. I think that would be kind of cool.
I like that.
when you said two races, I thought you were talking about, a little race bowl. That might
Oh,
be exciting.
well, yeah,
Also, that would be worth it too. I mean, we've
yeah.
covered it already. That would draw the viewership 100%. I don't know why they haven't done it. It needs to be done. Like Hot, I know we said that like holding it after the season, like people wouldn't try. I
If that was the
shit you
case, then
not, if
yeah.
that was after the season, they would be going harder than they would in the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, I'd agree with that, but
Like that's the fix right there.
yeah,
You
As long
make
as we
it
have
come to life.
McCaffrey, we have a chance.
Yeah. What
so
what Gary?
I
We
think
really,
that's
we really
huh.
just need Hodska's fantasy football team from this season.
Yeah,
on the
pretty much.
offensive side of the ball, yeah, we just got to drop Lamar, but yeah, everyone else was white.
Yeah. What's wrong, Gary?
I have no comment on the situation.
Gary doesn't want to get canceled. Gary, let me tell you something. everyone and their mother has talked about the race bowl. It's been all over Twitter, all over everything. You're not getting canceled for sharing your opinions.
I straight up think that black people would win every year.
Okay,
Especially with the massive influx of new like black talent at quarterback. Like it's no longer a white dominated position. Like I feel like, I mean, like I'm not trying to be, racist. I'm just saying like I feel like that would be potentially maybe the only position that would be contested. But like, I mean, what? Like Beav said, we have McCaffrey. Who else?
We got Josh Allen. We got Joe
every
Burrow.
we have every single tight end possible.
We got all the Pacific Islanders.
We basically get a bunch of the O linemen. Our defense.
The only position we're lacking is cornerback.
Which we have a white cornerback that's supposed to be a first-round pick.
Yeah, Cooper.
So we're not that bad if you think about it.
Maybe when Ricky Pearsall makes it to the league, we can start talking about it. But
why do you need Ricky Pearsall when you got?
We don't need him. We got Cooper Kupp. We got Puka Nacua.
Would Puka qualify as white?
He's Islander.
Oh, yeah, dude, he went to BYU.
Yeah.
That's a good counter argument, Beav.
From Utah.
Yeah.
I know what BYU is.
I'm telling you, bro, we'd hold our own. I'd definitely take the points and it'd probably be like a 13.5 point spread. But we'll compete. We got heart, that's what our driving force is. We got heart.
I mean, it'd just be a cool switch up.
It would.
But then it also takes away from the Pro Bowl itself, because we're gonna have a decent amount of scrubs in our secondary or something like that, where it kind of defeats the purpose of all of the black guys potentially can't play on the same team, because you're not gonna have 4 positions, even though the best 4 positions the position group is all 4 black guys, so they're not gonna get in the game.
Yeah,
so that's kind of tough.
You don't think the Bosas will activate their superstar X factor in the race bowl?
Well, I'm not.
You know what I mean?
I'm not.
There's something there, bro.
I know there's something there, but I'm saying in addition, Pro Bowl wise, you look at a position let's try to go off the top, free safety. You have a bunch of guys that are really good, or corners. You have a bunch of black guys that are really good. A lot of them probably won't be on the field because you're not going to take 10 cornerbacks, even though the best 10 corners in the league are all black. Okay. So that's kind of defeats the purpose of the Pro Bowl, because a lot of the black guys would get in on the white team. So
that wouldn't happen in the race bowl. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about Pro Bowl, so that's why I brought it up, but it's a little counter argument.
Yeah, we have no chance, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think we're good on the race bowl. I think we should move on to the next topic.
I think you don't control the podcast, and you're a guest here, and you should be happy you're on here.
It's just a suggestion. It's just a suggestion.
Gary, we talked for probably an hour, and we drafted a whole lineup for the race bowl one episode. It's not that deep, bro. But all right, if you want to move from the race bowl, we'll move to something else. Dartmouth basketball players.
Not much diversity at Dartmouth on the
basketball players are now considered employees and have their own union. Beav, I know you came across this story, so I'll let you take this one away.
Yeah, no, this was probably the most interesting story of the week. This could change the whole landscape of college athletics. Essentially, I don't know why more teams haven't thought about this before, but the Dartmouth men's basketball team, a bunch of Ivy League guys, definitely not stupid.
Yeah.
They all signed a petition with the International Labor Association or whatever, basically petitioning them to be a part of the local group, which would, give them, I guess, membership in the local labor union.
Mhm.
Their membership was granted by like some regional woman who essentially said that since Dartmouth kind of controls, you know, the hours that these players work, kind of where they work, what they do, and the Dartmouth players are being paid, whether directly or indirectly by the school, directly through like stipends or indirectly through like,
NIL opportunities.
yeah, NIL, boosters, alumni,
Mhm.
that they're essentially considered employees and they could basically unionize, negotiate their own salary, negotiate their hours, their working conditions. And obviously I'm sure the NCAA is probably shitting in their boots right now.
Yeah.
But they get overwhelmed with this whole situation, they can kind of lose the stronghold that they've had over, whether you call them students or employees. And the NCAA has said, they're students for 100+ years. Now things are shifting. So I mean, this is the first domino to drop, and I think is what the sport needed, because you had a bunch of people. College football has gotten way out of hand because obviously it's a big money maker, and the smartest people in the room can't figure out what to do.
Mhm.
Now a basketball team at Dartmouth unionizes. Obviously, that's the first step. That's what like needs to happen. There needs to be some like negotiation between like a player association and the universities themselves to kind of have like some balance of power there. And I think it's great for the game, like great for sports in general. I think it should happen. Obviously, it should happen quick.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see how, like you said, the domino effect and see what kind of comes next. Because you have, all right, Dartmouth basketball, not necessarily the biggest NCAA basketball brand. And Dartmouth itself is an Ivy League school. Obviously, when you think of Dartmouth, you think of not much athletics, you more think of academics. So I'm curious to see what kind of schools take the action of whether it's like big name schools or like what's going to come after in terms of what sports or how the NCAA also kinds of tries to, I guess, not reprimand it, but kind of control what is happening if it like gets kind of out of their hands.
Yeah, the interesting thing too is like it's not like the school doesn't really have a say in any of this, right? Like
Yeah.
Dartmouth didn't have a say in this. Like it's kind of between the players and like a series of local, I guess, militia type small unions, part of a
Yeah.
national or international group. There's going to be a series of decisions, cases, lawsuits, like,
Mhm.
and the schools aren't really going to have much say. So
Yeah. And
who knows where this goes.
it'll be crazy too with all this NIL like talk and what the NIL has done to athletes over the past couple seasons and how if this happens to other schools in the future, how that affects kind of because technically they are employees and employees are technically eligible to earn salaries. So whether it's not necessarily NIL deals or boosters, how it kind of affects like, okay, if this guy on Dartmouth is being paid this as an employee on the basketball team, and I'm a big time, let's say Ohio State football player, like just as like a reference here, like what's my salary or something like that kind of.
Yeah.
'Cause at the end of the day, it is kind of like about time. I mean, a lot of like Cardale Jones says, I didn't come here to play school. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm just curious to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely should be interesting watching this develop more and more, especially as we see college sports increase year over year in the monthly revenue they bring in.
Mhm.
I'm excited for this. I think this makes the whole dynamic of the NIL and everything like that way more interesting.
Yeah.
So I am on board with watching this. That's just me though. Gary, you seem enthused by this. What say you?
No, it's not that I'm not enthused. This is more or less that I'm like thinking about everything, like, and how this will affect the culture of college athletics. Because, I mean, obviously, I go to the University of Florida. I go out on the weekends. And an example is like I was out this weekend and a group of football players walk up And it's not hard to tell who's an athlete, especially in the game of football, and who isn't. I mean, they're just ginormous compared to everybody else, and they mob together. Like they're always with each other. So whatever, like And they pull up in like designer clothes and like diamond grills and diamond chains and Cartier glasses, and it's just like that's cool. Like I feel, dressed to impress, and you have a high standard at the school and your name is known and everybody knows who you are. So like why not dress like a celebrity? Because you essentially are. Like it's like being the popular kid in high school. Like, you want to look good because you're on everybody's mind, especially when they see you. But on the other hand, you know, it's like you're creating this almost like a god complex in these kids' heads. Like you got to realize that these kids are like 18 to 21 years old. Some of them a little bit older, but like these are still, I mean, technically, yes, they are adults, but they are children. And it's like, you're giving them millions and millions of dollars. And it's like, if you wouldn't have extended the hand and given them the opportunity to play for your school, they would have nothing. So then you have Dartmouth, which I think is fucking stupid. Like, I don't want to say it's stupid because I don't know how it's going to affect everything yet. Like, it could be good, but could also be very bad because this could cause everybody else to say, hey, why don't we do the same? And then it's almost like, you're in a professional sports league because yes, everybody's getting a salary. But then, for example, say AR was playing and he's on a unionized Gator football team. He's going to be getting way more bonuses than, the scumbag right guard that's right in front of him. Like, I'm just curious to see how this will all play out because I feel like college athletics is moving towards this idea of less of opportunity for your future and more of opportunity for right now. What can I get right now? What can I get in my hands right now that will keep me at your school, that will keep me playing for your team? And I think it's stupid because I think it just goes against everything that college athletics has stood for all these years. You go to the school, you get the adequate grades you need to get. You have somebody holding your hand all 4 years, making sure that you do that. I mean, I walk by the building almost every day at UF, especially when I have class. You see all
Barrier
the football, huh?
Barrier Hall, right? Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah, it's like a huge multi-million-dollar building where the kids go in there if they need help. They go in there to meet with their academic mentors. These people will literally like change your grades if you are struggling. Like it is handed to you on a silver platter, but yet that's still not enough. They still feel like I need more because I do this and my school generates this amount of revenue. So why am I not getting paid for it? Which I understand from a player's perspective, but also it's just not how it is. It's like the school benefits from that. They take that money, they invest it in their program to make it better throughout the future. And then you have a school like Miami, for example, who's already has buku dollars, and then they pay their new incoming quarterback like I want to say it was 8 figures to come play for them.
Damn.
Like where's like I get you're making a lot of money, but you're also investing a lot of money into somebody that could potentially get injured. Like, think about USC. I wonder how much money they put into Caleb Williams just to watch him sit on the sideline. And then they're sitting there thinking, all this money we put into him, we could have put it into fixing the stadium or fixing this light or just something simple. Like, I feel like Dartmouth is a great example of where this should start because obviously they're not a big time program like Alabama that is generating hundreds of millions of dollars every year, but they are making some money. So I'm interested to see how taking that revenue and using it to pay your players will impact the program as a whole.
I like it, Gare. I will say though, and it's not any secret to anyone. I've been very vocal that I am not a fan of the NCAA and the way they run things. More specifically, the way they've treated their players for years upon years upon years. I think this is a good thing because the players deserve the money. The NCAA makes billions upon billions of untaxed revenue every single year off of each of these players, and they all get a fraction of it. I mean, if you think about it, yes, football is the biggest moneymaker, but it's all sports across the NCAA that are just bringing in racks upon racks to the NCAA. Football is the main one that gets paid, right? I mean, that's your biggest draw. But now if you unionize, you have the opportunity to say, hey, the gymnastics brings in X, Y, and Z. Why don't they get paid X, Y, and Z? Hey, that wrestling team, they're number one in the nation. They actually draw in eyeballs. Instead of them getting forgotten like every other wrestling team, let's make sure they get paid. So when I look at it like that, it makes more sense for teams to unionize because it gives them the opportunity to achieve that higher level of pay that, they may not have gotten because they've trained for years. And let's face it, a not as popular sport. So that's kind of where I come from with it. I think you had a great point there. I think it can be dangerous if not handled correctly. However, I think if you do handle this correctly, I think it is very beneficial. All the players get their money. They're willing to try their asses off because the whole point of them holding out is so that they don't get hurt so that they can get their bag. And if they can get their bag at that college level, you will see less players holding out over and over again. That's kind of where I come from with it. And granted, like I said, I've been a big fuck the NCAA guy because I've seen firsthand how they treat athletes in their, essentially ranks. So that's where I come from with the opposite opinion on it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind too, for everyone listening, this news probably just broke maybe probably less than 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Relatively fresh. And nothing really major has come out besides the fact that we all got the alerts and have seen on like TV and stuff. So it'll just be interesting. I'm just more curious to see like if it does kind of get more big in terms of expanding into different schools and different sports, how the whole kind of salary thing pans out, or in terms of it should go by revenue. In terms of like if your sport brings in the most revenue, chances are you should get paid more than say someone that in a sport that doesn't get like paid more. But then it'll be interesting to see how NIL deals with it and if like the salaries are like kind of base because you're technically all on the same team, or will they go kind of treat it like a job where it's like, okay, I'm Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm the best player on Ohio State. I get more money than every single one of you guys because I'm the best player and bringing in more. Then also, how does the NIL kind of tie into it where if everyone's on like the same base and then NIL can play a part in it, that's what I think could be a good move for the NCAA. Is that way kind of everyone kind of is happy, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and I guess unions get a bad rep, but they serve a good purpose. And I think just in the atmosphere of college football right now is literally, I mean, you hear this all the time, but it's literally the Wild West. There's no rules at all. It's just everything is so fresh, so new. And I think any form of structure that involves the NCAA as little as possible is the best start that you can have.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think it is a good thing that it is the Wild West. Just because it gives us the opportunity just to see what works and what doesn't. Like now, give it 3 years, right? Things are gonna go bad, things will go good. But that 3-year marker, 2 years past the 12-team playoff, that's that point where you can kind of fundamentally hop in as a governing body, be like, okay, NIL deals way too high. How do we combat that? Do we lower this or that? Unionizing proved to be beneficial. How do we ensure it's a good structure and maintain our control as the governing body? So I think the more time that it goes around, the less rules that we have right now, I think will end up being that kind of melting pot of success. So it's going to be fun to watch, man. I'm excited to see what happens. College sports is in an era nobody thought possible 2 years ago. let alone today. So it's gonna be interesting. It really is, and we'll see what happens.
Hey, and we got a college football video game coming out in a few months.
That we do.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
Gary,
Something else, I mean, we can kind of get into real quick to segue. The golf was pretty exciting this weekend, kind of the whole PGA versus LIV. I know Braverman and Gary are golf guys. But I thought it was a big weekend for LIV, and I thought they won this weekend, even with the PGA playing at arguably one of the most known courses in the world.
Yeah, I didn't watch either, but just seeing things on social media, this was probably the first week where obviously Pebble was shortened, right? There was no round on Sunday. So whatever golf there was LIV. There's good players, there's a good leaderboard. So this was the first week where like kind of the golf world's focus shifted to LIV on a Sunday. And you had a good tournament, good playoff. Neiman shot 59 earlier in the week.
Yep.
John Rahm, Sergio, all the guys. So yeah, I mean, it opened a lot of people's eyes. I think, LIV's got its benefits. I still don't really like the team names are ridiculous. The outfits are kind of, I mean, like, come on, like you can do a little bit better if you have all this money, and they got music playing the whole time down the stretch on a Sunday, which I'm not a fan of, but the product is there. It needs refining, and they're just signing guys every week, it seems.
Yeah.
PGA obviously had a huge bump in their structure, I guess. They just got pumped in with a couple $1 billion. So see what that leads to. But yeah, interesting place because LIV put on a good performance this week.
Yeah. This was my first time like really kind of watching a LIV event in the CW. I watched it the final round Sunday, and it was actually really interesting. It was great golf one. The leaderboard, like you said, you had guys like Neiman, Rahm, Sergio, DJ Brooks. They were all in it within like 3 strokes, like within a couple holes to go. What I liked about the broadcast is they showed a lot more shots compared to like the PGA. Whereas like the PGA, if it's a tight leaderboard, like guys are already done, so it's like kind of the shots are all varied. Where it's like LIV is like kind of like the shotgun start, so everyone's kind of playing at the same time. So you get multiple camera angles of like it's basically everything's happening in real time, which is kind of cool. That's kind of what I liked about it. But
Gary, as soon as Hod brought up LIV Golf, you started shaking your head and rolling your eyes. Just go for it, bud.
Okay. Here's my thing with LIV. I think it's great. I think that this idea that they're instilling upon potentially a younger audience to make golf look fun, I think it's awesome. I've had neighbors that have gone to their events and said they're way more entertaining than PGA events. You see all these big name players that have signed big boy checks to go play with LIV, and they're just having fun with it. Yes, they want to compete and they want to win, but at the end of the day, they already secured a massive, massive bag that is way bigger than they would have ever gotten at the PGA. So when you think of PGA and you think of somebody coming in second in the PGA tournament and being upset, you look at a LIV tournament and they're coming in second, they're still making multi-million-dollar checks just for being there, which, okay, whatever. I think that's awesome. You got to where you are, you deserve the money. If the money is there, chase it. I get it. On the other hand, I think that if you were once a diehard fan of the PGA and you begin watching LIV Golf, you should know who you're supporting and where your money is going. As an American, I don't like the people that started LIV Golf, the Saudi National League. They are these guys who are, I mean, with their combined wealth, they are trillionaires. They are not billionaires. They are trillionaires. They have all the money in the world to do literally anything they want. And, I think it's cool that they're dabbling in sports and, trying to create something. And I do think that Saudi Arabia has developed as a country into something better over the years. They have become like, they just started letting girls drive cars about 2 years ago. Good shit, guys. That's awesome. But at the end of the day, these are monopoly holding oil drilling pieces of shit. And honestly, you could suck my fucking dick if you think I'm ever going to watch a LIV Golf tournament, because I will not give a penny of my money. I will not give anything to them. And I know it doesn't matter. I know it doesn't matter if I say, oh, I'm not going to give you any of my money. But at the end of the day, in my heart, I feel better not watching that bullshit, because fuck the motherfuckers that started it. I hate them. I think that they're just pieces of shit. And I hope you watch this, and I hope, I'll drop my location for you. Come pull up. What's
Bro,
up?
you're gonna get fucking sniped. What the
No,
fuck
please
are
don't
you
drop my
doing, bro? Don't be an idiot.
No, I mean, it's just, it is what it is. I'm not the first person to say this. Look at Rory McIlroy. He says it every other weekend.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the only one that feels this way. It's just ever since this started, I just think I don't know. It's just weird because I guess I grew up watching the PGA, and it's like I'm angry that there's something new and there's something better out there and that people are attracted to it. And, this once thriving league that kind of just brought in everybody from every walk of life is now dying because all these big guys are like, I'd rather make more money over here and play like a third of the amount of time I would play if I was playing with the PGA. But I also think it's good for the PGA in the way that this has opened doors for younger athletes to kind of prove their worth and show their talent from a league that was once dominated by these big name guys that were flooding the leaderboard every weekend, to now, for example, last week you have that guy from Texas A&M that came in, or was it? No, it was Bama.
Oh, Bama.
Sorry, Bama, that came in and won the whole tournament. Like, would that be possible if you had somebody like Phil Mickelson and John Rahm, and Sergio's been washed for years, so I'm not even going to talk about him, but Bryson, like all these big guys that, once dominated the league, they're now gone. And it opens the door for young guys, which I think is good, which is the only thing that I think LIV has done that is good in my mind.
Yeah, like young guys like Ludwig Aberg.
Yeah.
He had like 3 top 20s in a row, and he's like the second person to be top 20 in the world, or the second youngest person to be top 20 in the world, having
You're
like
a
his
stud.
card behind like Tiger.
Yeah.
Like that was the one thing I was kind of disappointed about this weekend is I would have never watched the LIV Golf if the Sunday at Pebble was still on and it wasn't canceled due to the conditions, because that leaderboard was good, and plus it's Pebble Beach. Like Wyndham Clark, who won it, shot a 60 and broke the record the day before, and it was a good leaderboard as well, even though Clark was like 3 strokes ahead. But yeah, it kind of sucks that that event got canceled. But it kind of opened my eyes to LIV, and I like what you said, Gare, about the opportunity of young guys coming in. It does allow for young guys to come in just because all these guys go and try to earn the bag on LIV, which, you know what, go ahead, by all means, not my place, but it allows the young guys to come in and they'll be competing more, and we'll get to know these guys more because they start so young, because there'll be more opportunity of them to play in tournaments. And then if they become good, say like I don't know, someone that was young was like Morikawa. I always think he's still really young, but like he was so good when he first joined, or like even like Spieth when he first joined, JT when he first joined. Like those guys who are like some of the biggest names in the PGA Tour right now. Like what will happen to those guys, like the Nick Dunlaps and the guys that we have no idea they even are, like the college guys, in a couple years when they're winning events, and the LIV discussion, if it still exists, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. The last thing I have to say on the topic is LIV may have the money, but the PGA will always have the history. And that's one thing LIV will never be able to compete with.
I guess when you think about it, like when you really think about it, you think the Saudi Arabian, whoever's in charge of the PIF and the $800 million and the guy that's running it, Yasir, you think they're so disgruntled with the PGA Tour that they think that they could make a product that's better for the game of golf? Or do you think they just look at the circus that America is right now and count their money twiddle their thumbs and be like, let's see how much money we can spend and just shit on the PGA Tour because like
Yeah.
fuck America, which is kind of how it's always been with them and us.
Yeah.
So
It's
I mean the tournaments don't mean anything, right? The guys are getting paid in advance. Like it's 54 holes. It's a shotgun. They got music going. They got teams. They don't have world ranking points yet, which I mean, you can make a good argument. I think that they probably should, but they don't. So these guys aren't, top ranked players.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's not the same. But
Yeah, it's interesting just because I was always been a soccer fan, and before like there was even Live Golf discussion, there was the Qatari Super League discussion in soccer where they tried to form like the best teams in the world,
yeah,
get like the Barcelonas, the Real Madrids, the Man U's, the Man Cities, like all those good teams and form like the Super League where those teams would just compete regularly, which kind of broke the structure of UEFA soccer and the Champions League and the Premier League, La Liga, and kind of the best teams would be out of those markets. But those talks kind of got broken down really quickly because a lot of those teams shut it down. And there were some teams that were on board for it. A lot of those teams were owned by already like Qatar sports groups and big Qatari oil companies. So that's kind of like where I'm at in terms of like how interesting it is that something is actually like come from this in terms of like now there's a debate between the initial structure and now the new structure.
yeah. I mean, you think they do it for the love of the game in any sport, soccer, golf,
Yeah.
tennis, where they do, or
Oh,
you think they're like, let's get the Ronaldos of the world, let's get the Neymars of the world, let's
yeah.
get the John Rahms of the world, and then get everybody to watch our sports and
Yeah.
start like Saudi Arabia because we've been kind of the assholes of the world for the last 100 years.
No, I agree. I mean, they had like this whole big thing that Al Nassr, which is Cristiano Ronaldo's team, last week they played Inter Miami, which has Messi, Suarez, Biscuits, Jordi Alba. Um, and neither Messi or Ronaldo stepped foot on the field. Like the teams played, those two weren't in the lineup. They had a lot of eyes on it. A lot of people went to it. A lot of like people were excited to see it because it's probably the last time we could have ever seen Messi versus Ronaldo. And neither of them played, which kind of is disappointing. But that seems like what's happening in terms of like I guess the Qatari soccer league is they get all these guys, kind of like how Liv is poaching guys from the PGA like Neymar, Ronaldo, Conte, Benzema, some big name guys, and they're either not playing because they already have a ton of money, or the competition is too weak, or they just thought that this was a good idea, but now in hindsight, in 6 months, like Karim Benzema already wants to leave, Neymar already wants to leave. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how long I can see these Qataris and Saudi Arabian leagues like lasting, but it'll be
One
interesting.
thing that
They have unlimited money. That's
Yeah,
the
I
thing.
mean, yes,
They'll keep
but
trying.
with the structure and kind of integrity of the game,
Yeah,
I guess golf has more longevity because it's individual based, but in terms of team sports, like in soccer, you need 11 guys to fill a field. Like if you get Neymar and you get 10 guys you've never heard of, but you know Neymar, people probably still aren't going to watch because it's just Neymar versus 10 guys you've never heard of versus Ronaldo and 10 guys you've never heard of. So,
I don't know. One thing that's always stuck out in my mind is whenever Ronaldo hugged that woman in public. And did you know the crime or the punishment for hugging a woman in public is apparently 100 lashings?
yeah.
You just whip your back out and they beat the shit out of you. Just think about that. These are the people that are in charge of
Yeah.
this shit.
Yeah.
They're just not good guys. Like, fuck them.
It's scary of what it's going to come to, but that's another discussion.
The only thing I'll say, because obviously we all know I'm not the most in tune with pro golf and all that. The PGA Tour, as we know it, died 8 months ago when they announced that merger. I think any leg they had to stand on and you as fans had to stand on kind of went out the window when they made that deal. There's just no avoiding it now. Money rules the world. And unfortunately, that's the way it's going to be. We just talked about how money's running college, money's running pro golf. Like that's just the way it is. There's no sense in arguing it, no sense in battling it. I think the only way to kind of embrace it is to get more American dollars back behind it.
which
The
I think
more American money you put into it, the less Saudi money there will be. Correct?
I agree.
Yeah,
So
that's what just happened this past week.
Yeah, with the elevated events and the PGA
yeah,
is gonna make a lot of noise this upcoming 2 weeks. I mean, you got Waste Management, which is arguably one of the most watched tournaments of the year, and it's just like the 16th hole is iconic there.
we got LA Riviera Tigers playing with
Exactly.
his new
Like
clothing deal. Who knows what it's gonna be?
exactly. So I mean, it's a good 2 week stretch for the PGA.
Yeah, I mean they still
Same
got
what
Tiger,
happened.
still got Rory, they still got Scotty Scheffler, they still got Jordan Speed, they
Yeah.
got Justin
yeah,
Thomas, they got Max Homa. If you
Yeah.
line them up, and I've seen it a million times, like a Ryder Cup style Sunday singles,
Oh yeah, I saw
PGA
it.
Tour versus Live. You go down the line, and Liv's got 5, 6, 7 good players, and then it just falls off a cliff. And the PGA Tour is stacked, and
Yeah.
anyone in their right mind takes a Tour over Live any day. Then you realize that Live is only 40 deep, and after those 6, 7 guys, then you got 4 or 5 guys that are like way washed, and
Yeah.
then you got like a good 20 guys who you've literally never heard of.
Yeah.
yeah. The only way the tour would have come out on top in this scenario is if they banned all the live players from playing in majors.
Well, the
That would have
PGA
been
Tour,
the only way to do it. And
the
I
PGA
mean,
Tour
like the
doesn't,
Masters.
they don't control the majors. The Masters is its own
I
thing.
know. I'm just saying that would have been their only shot to shut down the live golf. That was it.
Yeah,
I
but
know it's easier said than done, but you have no other chance otherwise, because when those big name players can't play in the biggest tournaments that they've grinded their whole lives to always be a part of, they'll come running back. I
well,
mean, sure, they
what
might get decapitated trying to break away from live, but they'll try running back.
That's what the world rankings are doing right now. They're not giving him points. So you saw Neiman won on Sunday. He slipped in the rankings. He's not qualified for any of the 4 majors.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you still have guys like at the Masters where if you win, bothered into play if as long as you're still alive. So like Dustin Johnson can play, Phil
Mhm.
will be able to play, Brooks will be able to play. Like there'll still be like some live guys that will still be able to play at the Masters at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anybody who won a major,
Yeah,
anybody who hasn't won a major, they're shit out of luck.
yeah, like Rom will be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that would have been their only shot at shutting down the live golf. That would have been it.
Mhm.
Now, with all that being said, I am excited to an extent to see what happens with this merger and how it evolves. Beav, Gare, Hod, are you excited at all just to see how it changes? Are you afraid of it? Like what, looking into the future, because obviously, there's a lot of frustration right now. Looking into the future, do you feel like this could eventually be beneficial for the entire golf community?
I think so, yes, but there's a lot of unknown parts of this merger that makes me kind of skeptical.
Okay.
Um, it's kind of too early to tell right now. Hopefully, it just sees that. Because ultimately, what you want is like, I'm not the biggest golf fan. I love playing the sport, and I've been like, I didn't really grow up. I only really, when I was younger, would watch like all the major tournaments. But now, as of lately, I've been getting more into golf and more into watching like Sunday, Saturday and Sunday rounds, especially now where there's not really any more football on. So on Sundays, there's nothing really to watch besides the
Mhm.
golf, which is fun. So I just want to see everyone be able to compete like at like Augusta, and you have all these guys competing on the same leaderboard again. I think that will grow the product. So I'm hoping that this merger will be good, but again, it's kind of too early to tell for me right now.
Yeah, no, at the end of the day, all you want to see is the best players on the best courses
Mhm.
and the 4 majors with all the best players. And I mean, me personally, I don't really watch every weekend. If I watch a course or if I watch a tournament, it's because the course is good and the field is good. So that's normally like that elevated PGA Tour events or whatever in the majors. And that's all I really care about. I don't really care about the team aspect. I don't care about the music. So it's personal preference. If that's not what you're into in golf, you don't like the legacy and like some pure courses and some good guys that play good golf, and you like live golf where it's loud and rowdy and they wear shorts, like so be it. But like those tournaments also don't mean anything, so it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, Live definitely ruined it. And I don't think the PGA Tour, like, I don't think they want to merge. I think they want to come out on top, and they just got like $13 billion. Their purses are almost about the same size now. They still play on the better courses. They still have the TV deals with NBC and CBS and ESPN. They're not on the fucking CW, and they're American. So I think they come out on top eventually.
Gary, anything else you wanted to add, or you got your rant out of the way? You're chilling.
Again, PGA will always have the history, and I think that's really what it's going to come down to is what do the fans and the players value more? Is it the entertainment aspect that LIV is currently beating the PGA with, and the money aspect that the players are asking for that LIV is outcompeting the PGA with? Or do you want to stop being a pussy, and do you want to play your best golf and try to get out there and win the purse rather than collecting a salary? So, that's the way I look at it. I mean, I understand guaranteed money is what we all look for in a job. You don't want to be like, oh, maybe this week I'll get paid, but next week I'm not so sure. But that's the whole idea of a competition in an individual sport like that. You gotta be the best to get paid the best. And if you're not willing to do it, then take your ass to LIV. But if you want to be recognized as the best player in the world, and you stick with the PGA and you win tournaments. I mean, look at Tiger. Why do we call him the GOAT? Because he won all those tournaments and majors. Well, also because he broke a lot of barriers for the game of golf. But he, at the end of the day, he was the most winning player there was. So that's why we all look at him as the best. We're not going to look at LIV and be like, holy shit, Phil Mickelson got paid $1 billion and then threw 400 million of it away gambling. He's badass. No, I just don't care about that. So I hope PGA comes out on top.
Yeah, you're not watching hoping that John Rahm wins $4 million, right?
No.
Okay. Well, Hot, in case you didn't know this, and on the note of golf, I smoked Beav in a golf trivia on the last episode. Just wanted to throw that out there and turn it over to Gary for this week's trivia.
Yeah, we got some good takes this pod.
We do. This one, usually we're goofing around, but we're locked in today. We are locked the fuck in right now. And I can't wait to throw it all away with this trivia in a fucking letter draft.
I need permission.
You can't have it. I just gave it to you.
You gotta look away.
No, I mean, I don't know why I used to do that.
Okay. I missed the meme template one, Gary. Can we bring that back for the Super Bowl?
We can get that cooking for the Super Bowl.
All right.
All right, so here we are. Big Dog Media presents Super Bowl trivia. The rules are always the same. I read the question. You must wait until I am done reading the question for you to then react with the hand raise emoji on Zoom. Then whoever raises their hand first, I will pick on you. You get it wrong, I move on. You get it right, you get a point. Everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. I gotta move your faces because I cannot read. Which team won the first Super Bowl in 1967? Oh shit, that was a close one between Mondo and Hod. So on the count of three, you guys are both gonna say your answers. Is that fair?
Sure. It's the
Four.
same answer.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Packers.
Checkers.
Okay. All right. So give Mondo and Hod a point for their quick reaction time, Beav. Come on, old man. I know you got it in you.
All right.
Question. Which player has the most career Super Bowl touchdowns? That was Beav.
Jerry Rice.
There you go, Beav. It's all tied up. Everybody's at 1. Good shit, Beav. Next question. Which two teams have faced each other the most in the Super Bowl? Mondo.
The 49ers and Chiefs.
That is incorrect. Hod.
Steelers, Cowboys.
There you go, Hod. Hod is in the lead. He has
I
two.
could never bring myself to say the Cowboys. That's just me.
Steelers.
I know it's the right answer. I just couldn't say it. I didn't have the balls to say the Cowboys.
Which Super Bowl had the smallest attendance?
At the Roman numerals.
Beef.
I'm gonna say Super Bowl 6 had the lowest attendance.
I'm gonna say you're wrong. Mondo, what do you say?
I'm gonna say Super Bowl 1.
I'm gonna say you're wrong. Hod, what do you say?
I'm gonna say the answer is A.
I'm also gonna say you're wrong. So nobody gets this point. It was Super Bowl 55, and that was
Really?
because that was the year of COVID.
Oh,
Oh, fuck
COVID.
you.
Trick question. I like that, Garrett. That was a good one.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the affirmation. Next question. Americans eat about 1.42 billion of what food on Super Bowl Sunday? Mondo.
Wings.
Mondo is correct.
That's crazy.
Look at me, bro.
What is
Look
that
at
a
me.
person?
I know my food.
That's like 4 a person, and half of America, maybe more, way more, is not even eating any. So that's like 20 a person.
Well, I'm taking care of it for about 3-4 people. I'm sitting there feasting on these fuckers.
Dude, that reminds me, dude. If you're not eating chicken wings on Super Bowl Sunday, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Pizza, beer, and wings. The Holy Trinity.
So let's run through the points real quick. Mondo, you're sitting at, I want to say
2.
2 points. Beav, you're sitting at 2 points as well, I think. Or 1 point.
Jesus Christ.
I got 1
Gary.
point.
And Hod has 2 points. Okay, that sounds about right.
To be honest, though, the chips number is probably very close to the chicken wing number.
Yeah. But it's hard to produce of how many single chips.
Yeah.
So
It could be
is
more.
it 1.42 billion like individual wings?
Yes. So imagine how many
Yeah,
chickens.
so there's way more chips, Beef. 100%.
So then that's the wrong answer.
Well,
Well,
no, it's the
no.
right
It's
answer.
asking
The
what?
answer to this one is wings.
How you gonna tell me that's the wrong? I mean, I guess you can tell me because I've been wrong before. All right, next question. Who was the first player to win consecutive MVPs? Hod.
Joe Montana.
No. Mondo.
Wow.
Bart Starr.
That is the correct answer. Bart Starr. I cannot tell you where Bart Starr plays. Kind of sounds like a porn star name, but
He played for the
Bart Starr.
Packers, I think.
Okay. In the 1800s, I'm assuming. Next question. How much money do Americans spend on food, drinks, apparel, and decorations for Super Bowl Sunday? Mondo?
17 billion.
No. Beav?
18 billion.
No. Hod?
16.5 billion.
There you go, Hod. Hod is in the lead. Holy
Odds
shit.
in the lead.
He's at 3 now, no?
I have 3.
Fuck. All right, Beav, you're slacking, dude. Come on.
Bro, Gary, write this shit down.
Dude, I'm looking at the answers on my phone and clicking and looking to see who responds first.
This fucking guy.
I would have gotten the point if I had said chips because that was the right answer.
No, it was not.
Take it to the grave, Beav.
Fucking idiot, dude.
Can we give Beav a half point unless he wins?
Sure, you get a half
Alright.
point, Steve. You're sitting at
Wow.
1.5. Good shit, bud. What is the most watched Super Bowl halftime show performance? Pod.
Michael Jackson.
No. Mondo.
What? That's
Prince.
wrong. Wow.
No. Beav.
Rihanna.
Yes, Rihanna is the correct answer.
How's it
That's
not?
Michael Jackson.
Obviously, not as many people had access to television when Michael Jackson did his performance. Well, I mean, television was a widely accepted technology, but Rihanna during that performance, remember she was pregnant, and a lot of people tuned in because that started flying around Twitter as soon as she hopped on the stage.
Yeah,
I'd
but that's not Michael
argue,
Jackson.
wasn't Dre the 2021?
He was 2021, 22. 21 when the Rams won.
Who was the one for 2020 during COVID? For
The weekend.
Oh yeah, Blinding Lights. Yeah, when he was like running through the fucking
that
mirror.
should be the most watched, no?
I guess not.
Dude, Michael Jackson came out and he didn't even do any. He was just standing there for like 5 minutes.
Well, he was teleporting.
Everybody's cheering.
Yeah. That's why I thought it was the most. I think Michael Jackson's definitely has the most like YouTube streams. Or
Yeah.
Nah, that's cap, bro. That's Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson. I know that for a fact. That is a guarantee. I will go to the grave on that.
All right,
Yeah.
Steve, put your hand down.
Yo, can we talk? I'm a little disappointed in the Usher pick this year. Who knows how it's gonna be, but like he don't have hits like that.
Yes,
Yeah, he
the
does.
fuck he doesn't.
Oh,
What?
he does. No, he does.
he's got like
He's
four
got
songs.
like 5 or 6 bangers, bro, and that's all you need for a Super
No,
Bowl.
you need more than that for a Super
You
Bowl.
don't. How
Hell
many?
no.
Rihanna
Most
has
people, all
25
right,
bangers.
you average 9 songs a Super Bowl halftime performance. Fun fact, if you're doing props, just keep that in mind. 9 songs is the average. If you have a couple songs where you have features on it and then you do your hits, bro, you're fucking chilling. He has an arsenal.
I don't think any of us can name 9 Usher songs off the dome.
I think if you let me study.
My Boo is a fire one.
Standing next to you.
What is that one?
Love in This Club. I wanna
Hey,
Wanna hear some
Daddy.
Confessions at the Super Bowl halftime show. Some
Hey,
Usher.
Daddy, OMG. DJ got us fall in love.
Oh my God.
Good.
Yeah.
Like
You're gonna kill
Yeah.
it, bro. It's gonna be crazy. Usher, I think, is a good performer. He can dance, he can sing, he can do the whole 9. I think it'll be good.
Without You was a good one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Damn, Hod's in his feelings over there playing with his hair, thinking about that song.
I'm just looking up Usher songs.
I can't run. I can't hide.
All right, Beav. Cut it out.
Oh, Moore's a banger too.
Beav's at 2. Mondo and Hod are each at 3. Is that correct?
Yes.
2.5.
How much did tickets to the first Super Bowl cost? Mondo.
15.
Nope. Hod.
12.
Yes, that is correct. Isn't that crazy though to think about how now the cheapest tickets I think are like $3,000 or something like that?
It's 2.5 million for a suite.
Crazy.
Fun fact.
And I know I saw Vegas, all the like the PJ spots are booked up.
Yep.
It's nuts. This one which city hosted the coldest Super Bowl ever? Mondo.
Green Bay.
No. Hod.
I'm gonna say Minnesota.
No. Beav.
New Orleans.
Yes. This one threw me for a loop.
It's a dome though. Doesn't count.
Explain.
So I want to say here, I'll look it up so I have the correct story. New Orleans.
It's a dome.
Yeah, but still, like it's just coldest Super Bowl ever. It just means coldest temperature, even though it's a dome.
Yeah, but
That's what
that
I was
shouldn't
going off of
count.
Minnesota. Minnesota was a dome. I just knew that they played there. Like
I
they've
mean, it's
been playing in
crisp
dome
72 in there.
So this was in 1972,
Interesting.
before the dome was
For the
built.
dome. Wow.
It was played at Tulane Stadium in New Orleans, Super Bowl 6.
Oh
It
wow.
was 39 degrees at kickoff.
Yeah, makes sense.
Wow, that was colder than New York when they had it outside in New York.
I guess so. I mean,
Yeah.
multiple sources say the same thing, so it's not like I'm bullshitting you.
Yeah. Interesting.
I actually
Huh.
pulled this question from CBS's Super Bowl trivia, so if they're wrong, they're fucked. Next question. Wait, who got that one? That was you, Hod, right?
That was
No,
me.
Beaverman.
Beav.
Eve's got
Beav.
3 now. We took
All
away
right,
his half
Mondo and
point.
Beaver at 3, Hod at 4.
Yep.
How many? Oh, this is the last question. We could have a tiebreaker. While they fell short against the Steelers, the Rams received a gritty performance from which player who played the game with a broken leg? Beav.
Darren Sharper, the hardest hitting safety in the league. B. If that counts, B.
Beav is right.
Jack Youngblood, you know where he went to school?
Went to Florida,
went to
baby. Ring of
Florida.
Honor.
Sir.
Gator.
So now we have a tie between Hod and Beav.
I mean, that's a first that I'm not competing in the finals. I'm heartbroken.
Fucking sucks because now I have to.
You do this shit, and then it's a question. Oh, this is what the question is going to be. It's from Gary.
It's not
Where
gonna
did
be
I
funny.
take a shit during the halftime performance of the 2015 Super Bowl? Is it A, at my house, B, at the tramp stamp neighbor's house, C, in a porta potty at a watch party, or D, I didn't take a shit? That's your question. Yeah.
Man,
Yo, he really played the game with a broken leg.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's nuts.
Dude,
Alrighty.
wasn't he like a linebacker or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Crazy.
He's either a
Who's
linebacker or tight
wasn't there a
end.
football player? He's in the Hall of Fame. His name is on the tip of my tongue, and he like lost his play. He like lost some fingers during a game.
Huh?
Maybe. I don't know.
Man.
You ready, Gare?
Yeah. Who was the MVP of Super Bowl 24?
I'm going to Google this.
Can we get what year that was?
Wasn't it like 87 or something?
I'm just gonna throw up a guess and say Joe Montana.
Hod takes it. Hod wins trivia for the week. Good shit, Hod.
Damn.
Not for the week, for the next 2 days.
My thought process of 24. Okay, that team's around the 80s and 90s. I'm just either gonna say Joe Montana. If it's not, it's probably Jerry Rice and Beav won.
There you go, Hod. Good shit, buddy.
Ooh.
All right. Gary, thank you for your services.
Thank you, Gare.
You're
Much
welcome.
appreciated. We'll see you later.
This is where I depart.
This is where you depart.
All right. Beef, love you. Hod, love you. Mondo, I'll probably talk to you within the next 24 hours. So,
Probably. But I love
See
you
you,
too,
dude.
Gary. Motherfucker didn't say he loved me. That broke me. All right. Let's do the draft. Let's try and make it quick. We've been rolling for a little while now. So I'll pull up the wheel. We'll have like 30 seconds to come up with an order. Actually, let's do this. Let's decide order first. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, Beav, you decide order.
All right. Pod, Mondo, and then myself.
Okay, just a reminder for everyone. This is the letter draft where we spin the wheel. You get 30 seconds to choose or to write down a list and then work off of it. And that'll be the draft. So with that being said, let's pull up the wheel.
A notes app real quick. I should
Da
start-
da 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 da. Letter C. Ready, go. Time.
All right, I got a list.
All right.
All right. With the first pick, I'm just gonna take the first thing that came to me that I wrote down first. Pretty universally loved. I think this was probably on everyone's list. I'm gonna take cookies.
That wasn't on my list.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah, to be honest.
I'm gonna take cars.
Yeah.
Pretty solid pick, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the first thing that came to my mind, and I think this is also pretty universally loved. And I'm gonna go with chicken.
Oh wow. Yeah, that was on
Ooh.
mine. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
And then my next pick, geez, I mean, what can I follow? I can follow chicken with a food, and my whole list is pretty much food.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with Christmas.
Nice.
Ooh.
That was on my list too. My list is dwindling.
I'm gonna go with candy.
Okay, nice. Um, with my next pick, I'm going to take the couch.
Good pick. Great pick. Yeah, I like that
And
one.
Classic.
I feel like I gotta stack it with my next pick, chair.
It's a smart
Yeah,
pick.
both up.
I got the combo now. They're gonna be lethal.
Couch, chair, and cookies.
It's not to
Well,
love.
boys, let's face it. None of you would be on here today without it. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about computers.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go with the best 1-2 punch in this entire draft. I'm gonna go with Chipotle
Oh,
Great.
and Charmin Ultra Soft.
Hell of a pick. Honestly, hell of a round.
Yeah,
yeah,
I told you.
that was solid.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, man. I'm gonna take cake.
All right. Solid.
I like it.
Thank you.
All right. I feel like I have to take Coca-Cola. So I'm going to take that with my first pick. And then my last pick, I'm just gonna spice it up. I'm gonna take the Constitution.
I really fuck with that pick. Hey, Gary was out here fucking Uncle Sam in today's pod, fucking being all proud of America and shit.
I mean, yeah, we all kind of need the Constitution.
Yeah.
So
Oh, where do I go from here? I'm gonna take Charles Barkley.
All right, all right. I'm gonna wrap up my draft with Chargers.
What kind of Chargers?
Battery of life in
battery
2020.
of life for the LA Chargers, kind of a double pick. I like it.
No, like a phone charger, but without the phone, just the
Yeah,
charger.
I mean, I can't put phone, so I just have to put charger. So it's up for interpretation. So that's kind of a utility pick right there. I like it.
Yep.
All right, to run through, I have cookies, couch, chair, Coca-Cola, and the Constitution. Mondo's got cars, candy, computer, cake, and Charles Barkley. Raymond's got chicken, Christmas, Chipotle, Charmin Ultra Soft, and Chargers.
That's what I felt about a draft in a while.
Yeah, you put a hell of a performance together. Some honorable mentions I had cornhole, and I also had Corona.
Okay.
Corona good pick.
I had coffee, Coors Light, cheese, and Channing Tatum.
I had
Coffee and cheese.
clothes, Campbell's, like the soup, Celsius, and the national flower of cockfight, the chrysanthemum.
Oh, God.
Shut up, bro. I hate you for that.
Shout out
Alright.
Christian.
Well, boys, another successful letter draft in the books.
Yes, sir.
So that is going to do it for today's episode. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to like, subscribe, share with everyone you know. Be on the lookout. Super Bowl special. Going to be a saucy episode featuring a lot of guests. Will premiere sometime on Saturday. So stay tuned for that. Get excited, and we will see you guys there. Peace.